Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here to share the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. Laura DeFranco is speaking on Ideal Client Mastery, a business building workshop. Laura is CEO of Brave Healer Productions, and she specializes in publishing and business strategy for holistic health and wellness professionals. She has a 30-year background in holistic physical therapy, 14 years training in the martial arts, and has published over 40 Amazon best-selling books, including 9 of her own. She's a spoken word poet, lover of dark chocolate, and has a contagious passion for helping you share brave words that build your business. Laura, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Jenny. Laura DeFranco is my name and Brave Healing is my game. And the following poem is dedicated to my daughter, Danielle, who is 19. It's called This Girl. This girl knows her limits and won't make you guess. She's sexy, dressed to impress herself. She'll say things that make you cringe because you were taught that a girl shouldn't think of herself as a goddess. You might try to make her see the error of her ways, but she redefined error a long time ago. She's not falling for that show. This girl constantly stands in her power, doesn't shy away from the fight, will ask you to talk it out if it's not making sense. And you better watch the 2 cents you offer because she knows what she's made of, and that is priceless. Her worth isn't defined by your limiting beliefs. Her worth wasn't shattered by outdated, unhealthy ideas of what a girl should be or do or become or say. She heard your argument and said, "What the heck?" She questioned every bit of that sideways, crazy-making shit and had none of it. She made her own rules instead. With awareness, compassion, kindness, and love, she walked her walk through the world. This girl is the change. This girl fights for every girl. This girl speaks for every girl. This girl heals for every girl who couldn't. It doesn't matter how many times you knock her down. When she's on her knees, she has already elevated her mind, the kind of mastery it takes 100 lifetimes to find. And she just gets up, no question about whether that's an option or not, and stands tall, tears and all, to go do it again. She'll show you the private parts of her heart because she knows being exposed like that is her strength. And no weapon, word, or injustice wielded in her direction could ever come close to making a dent, not in that beautiful, vulnerable, fantastic spark of soul she was asked to show up to be. When she answered her call, this girl stepped up immediately. No hesitation, no practice, no warm-up, no fear. She raised her hand and said, "I am love. I can do anything." This girl lit the world on fire. Thank you for being here today, you guys. So when I got my ideal client work down and mastered it at the next level, I was able to grow my business from 5 figures to multiple six figures. And I did it mostly by being my badass self and sharing poems like I just shared with you. Those brave words move through me from someplace way bigger than me at this point. And I just had to get out of her way and stop being afraid to share it. Right? That awesome poem that moved through me, inspired by my daughter, because we have spent the last 2.5 years fighting her abuser in court. That's where that poem comes from. So if you want to grow your business, get the ideal client stuff down. And talking about it that way is so boring, right? I mean, it's about that spoken word poem you just heard. It's about how you share your amazing, sexy, hippie, badass self. And who is she, right? Like, what are you hiding? And that was the question earlier. Like, if you knew that sharing yourself like that would save somebody's life, would you even hesitate in the, oh, I don't know if it's good enough? That is boring. That boring fear of not good enough, right? Because you can change a life when you get brave like that. That's a big deal to me. So let's talk about this, and let me give you some of the best nuggets. I want you all to have all the nuggets. And so the very first thing I'm going to do is make sure you have this gift, which, you know, wait for it, is a 5,000 word workbook on mastering your ideal client. There it is. Grab it in the chat. No way we can go over all of that today. You guys get that this is going to be as many nuggets as I can give you, but then it's the work. The work meaning the practice of this. And I have so many juicy things. So there it is in the workbook. Okay. Don't forget to click on that link and grab your workbook. But we need to really understand what is an ideal client? What are the problems with how we're writing and speaking for that ideal client? You know, what do you need to know about this person? How are you supposed to write and speak directly to the heart and soul of that person? Like, well enough that they click on your stuff and you have more income from that. That is the result here. Nobody should be worried about selling. It's the S word to me. Because when the other S word, when you share yourself lit on fire, full of enthusiasm and passion and genuine caring and compassion for human beings, I'm sorry, but if you're afraid of selling your stuff, nobody's life gets changed. So share more, figure out how to get over it, right? This isn't about you anymore or your boring fears of not good enough. It's about helping people. So let's do it, and let's do it more powerfully. So what is that ideal client? Well, my definition is it's the person who needs exactly what you have to offer and will spend money on it. That's it. Like, they need exactly what you have to offer and they will give you their credit card for it. But it's more complicated than that, right? Or else y'all wouldn't be here, right? And listening to this talk about ideal client mastery. So, you know, what if with one of these people sees your advertisement or your social post or your talk or whatever and thinks, oh my gosh, how did she know? Was she in my head? This is exactly the answer to my problem, right? They're like a hell yes for them. And we want to get that reaction to that reaction faster. No hesitation, no confusion. It's not a half-assed reaction. It's a full-on hell yes, they have what I need. Click. And to do that, you have to be speaking to that person, right? So many of you have heard the Shirley story, and that's one of my signature stories. And I want you all to have signature stories. Stories that when you share them in a talk or on social or on a live stream or on a stage or wherever, people start to talk to you about, oh my God, have you heard her Shirley story? right? Because those signature stories are what I'm talking about. They literally make you, the speaker, sit up taller because you get it. You excite yourself. You excite yourself, right? And then like, whoa, this is it, man. Shirley was a woman who responded to me on Facebook Messenger one day. She was a total stranger at the time. She said, "Oh, I love that blog you wrote. And I was wondering, do you have any more links for me to read? I've been struggling a little bit lately." So I dropped some links, of course, because I had written over 300 blogs on self-care at that point. She chatted with me. She said that she had been struggling with depression. She was a mother of 5. I dropped the links. I went away and wrote and dedicated a blog to her anonymously. And I asked my audience to step up in the comments with love and support for her. I knew I had other mothers in my audience, healers in my audience, people who had been through depression and gotten to the other side of it. And so they stepped up with advice and support and love. And I think she felt connection for the first time in a really long time. She had signed up for a course I was taking at that point. Later, after we got to know each other a little bit, she went on to writing her first 2 blogs for the world to share. The first one about her story of depression, and the second blog was a reach out to other mothers. Hey, you just got to reach out. You can do this. And during that whole time that we developed that relationship and I got to know her and she started writing, I only later on found out that she had been planning the suicide note she'd write to her husband and 5 children. Y'all, like, if this is the only thing I ever do with my writing, good enough. So who's your Shirley? Who is your Shirley? Your purpose has a face and a name. You are not writing and speaking to everyone on the planet. And when you do try to write or speak to everybody, you're talking to nobody, ideal client wise. So you must, if the only thing I do for you today is help you with the start of this, like, who's my Shirley? And you write down a first name of a person like that you work with now. Maybe you've worked with them for free, or maybe they have paid you for a program or this or that. But essentially, they can become a signature story. They are a transformation. They tell you that you've changed their life. It's somebody in your life now who you get excited in the morning. You don't have to wake up with an alarm because you're like ready to work with them. You want to. It changes your energy thinking about them. Who is that? Write a first name in the chat for me. Write a first name in the chat for me. Who is your Shirley? Give it to me, y'all. What you got? Who is this person? Karen, Beth. Yes, yes, yes. Gina, Natalia, Brenda, Brenda, Mary Jane, Sandy's, Barbara. Yes. Nice. Your purpose for everything you create in your business has a face and a name. And if you, like me, sat around trying to create offers and guessing at the ideal client, everyone does it in the beginning. You got to start somewhere. But wouldn't it be great if you could stop guessing and write and speak and create these offers and build the business knowing you're Shirley? I'm telling you, it's going to be a game changer for you. Okay. So everybody, you have a couple of minutes. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes and I want you to get your notebook out and I want you to write at the top, dear, and then the first name of your person. And how you're going to write this love letter to them is a couple of ways. You're going to write a love letter and you want to fill in the blank of, dear Shirley, what I want you to feel is, or what I really want you to know is, okay, you have 2 minutes. Write as fast as you can without censoring your beautiful love to this person. Write it all. How do you want them to feel? What do you want them to know? So for now, I want you to wrap up that last sentence or thought, and you'll have more letter to write later for sure. But when you create from love letter energy, everything changes. These letters become introductions to books and blogs. They become pieces of social posts. And your people will recognize themselves because you're speaking directly to them for once. You're not trying to talk to everyone. This is by far the biggest mistake I see my friends make, is that I'm reading their copy and the offerings, and that business owner thinks they're talking to their ideal client, but they're still being too vague. And they end up talking to nobody because they're still trying to talk to everyone for fear of losing business. I promise you, cross my heart, that when you begin to hone in speaking and writing for people from this kind of energy, from your amazing self, uncensored, personal, you will have more clients than you can imagine. Now, where are these words that we're sharing? Well, everywhere, everywhere. Social, blogs, books, sales pages, newsletters, speaker sheets and media kits, your bios, your personal emails, your messenger messages, your talks, your summits, your live streams, everywhere. So with intention, I want you to use those brave words, right? How do you want these beautiful people that you mentioned in the chat today, how do you want them to feel? Start typing in some power words. How do you want them to feel? I know one of mine is excited, hopeful, moved into action. Start typing the words for me. How that they matter. Yes. Clear. Yep. Clarity is a big one. How else do you want them to feel, you guys? Empowered, of course. I mean, even if you tap into the word empowered for half a second and you really let it into your body, you will sit up taller. This is a physical, postural, visceral thing we're talking about. So yeah, you want them to feel seen, feel loved, inspired. Yes, I'm imagining all of us want them to feel all of these things that are being typed in the chat right now. Fearless, limitless. Here's the question. When you create, write, speak, create an offer, basically anything, when you are sitting down to create or you are standing on a stage and speaking, do you feel that way? Have you conjured up the higher vibe energy in yourself before, during, and hopefully after even you create or you speak, you write? You got a gut check. It can't be, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, but I really have to finish the sales page tonight. Guess what they're going to feel in that? So I always ask myself, Laura, are you excited about this? Hell yes, I'm excited about this. Go right, go do your thing. Get into the, like, if I'm tired, bored, disinterested, or slightly in not good enough fear, that is just going to tank my energy and my efforts in the creation. So I just always ask myself, am I feeling these things? Yeah. Breath work, conjure up the energy. you all have the tools. So if you really do have a deadline, switch it up right then. With awareness, you have that choice. But a lot of us, I think, are head down, create, do the thing, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta make, get this off and post this and post. And we aren't even asking ourselves the question. First of all, who's your Shirley? How do they want to feel? Do I feel that way? And can I infuse them with that kind of energy with whatever I'm creating, right? So just taking you through a little bit of how I move through that. So since this is about basically no pressure, every word you write and speak, the first thing I'm going to tell you about writing and speaking for your ideal client is you best be practicing being your best, truest, wildest, hippiest, sexiest self, right? Like I said earlier. This best be about you, the authentic, awesome you coming through. You're not writing because you think they want to hear something. There's a little bit of knowing how they feel in there, but it's a little bit of a combo of things. And probably some of you already know the biggest secret ever to who your ideal client is, right? It's just you 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Yeah. Before you got over what you needed to get over to get to the place you are now, you solved problems for yourself. You are partially your best ideal client. So if you were speaking to the 10 years ago you, how would you speak to that gal, right? Get to know her. She had problems. She had deepest desires. She had personal issues in her life. If you were talking about me, I would say, ooh, she was going through a divorce. And I would need to understand what is up in my ideal client's personal life to create anything. Because if you had tried to sell me certain things that year, I hope you were speaking to me, or else you would not have gotten my attention, right? So you can't not know anymore. And here's the big secret to this. The biggest homework I'm going to give you today, the biggest secret: interview a current ideal client that you have now, or as close as you can get. Invite them to a little Zoom or a coffee. Sit down, ask them 40 questions. They're all in the workbook I offered you earlier, free gift. I got 40 questions you can, interview questions you can use for this gal or guy, okay? Interview them, put the email invitation on your to-do list, invite my ideal client to lunch or a Zoom. The invitation is going to be something like, Ginny, I have loved working with you for all these years. You honestly have been one of my best, perfect, ideal clients. And I'm getting ready to do this new thing, to create this program, to write this new book, whatever it is you guys are working on. And I wondered, would you spend, an hour with me and just let me ask you questions? I want to learn more about you, what you're doing, and ask you some really specific questions about what I'm doing and what I'm creating. And of course, they're going to say yes. They will be honored to help you with this, right? You're not selling them anything. That's not the intent. Can I get to know you better? Is it okay if I ask you a bunch of questions? And please put on your question list, what kinds of things, like the thing I'm creating, have you purchased in the past? How much did you spend? Did you think you got value out of it? What would have you added? Go there. Be very transparent. You want the answers to those questions because you're trying to price your offerings. Your ideal client spent a certain amount of money on something. Ask. And if they don't want to tell you, they won't tell you. But I highly doubt they won't share the information because of how you invited them, right? Biggest homework you're going to get today: go invite them to a lunch. Find out the answers. Stop guessing. And this will take your entire business to a whole nother level because please record the interview, because those words are going to be part of your copywriting. They're going to be on your sales pages. You will use that person's words in one way or another on your website, in your social posts, because they're going to give you the exact language, right? You have to learn their language. You have to stop guessing about how to write and speak to them. And you have to think about how they're coming at the world with their personal problems. So in my world of ideal client, there is no TMI. You guys know what TMI is? Too much information. So the more personal, the more universal. And I have given you two pretty personal pieces of information about myself today. I am in a court battle with my daughter against her abuser. That's pretty personal. But it's also something that I feel 100% comfortable letting you know about, because if you've ever been in a situation like that, you're like, girl, I know. And you are going to resonate on another level with me because I divulged that secret of my life. The divorce was the other one. You know, when I say to you, that was basically the worst year of my life until I learned that my daughter was abused. You're going to be like, oh my God, I get it. That was like, you know, so it's okay. It's okay to go there. So I want to leave a couple of minutes for you to ask me some questions, get some support about the things that I've said today. I don't want to leave today or forget to tell you that on Monday, we are going to start the Brave Healer Business Accelerator. And this is a program where I'm going to hold your hand and take you through 7 weeks of a business transformation. This is a very unique program. It is business, but it's healing. And it's also a little feng shui. I'm going to take my newest feng shui certification and I'm going to infuse it into how you clear internal and external spaces for your life and business. It's my intuitive writing and speaking for healers signature course wrapped up into the business course. I have never done this before, you guys. It's the last time I'm going to teach it live. And I've got a really amazing offer in the chat about it with the coupon code for you today. So making sure that your ideal client has been given an offer, call to action. If you aren't leaving your space, your writing, your blog, your book, your talk, your social post without a call to action for that beautiful person to take one little step, next step with you, you're bad, right? It's my bad if I forget the call to action. Because how the heck am I going to change somebody's business life if I didn't tell you that this program was going on? I won't. So there it is. I love call to actions. You'll get better and better and better at the funky feeling you have inside of you that was conditioned from a long time ago about that sounding salesy or whatever. If you pause and you notice, ooh, what is that feeling in the middle of my chest? My poor little heart feels like it's being shrink wrapped for a second. Like, what's going on? Maybe they're going to think I'm too salesy. No. That's a moment of awareness that you can start to heal, surrender to it, be okay feeling the discomfort, and share your amazing self. You are changing lives when you do that. Thanks so much for showing up today, y'all.
Laura, I'm going to stop the recording in just a minute, and if you could take some questions, that would be great. But I would like everybody to unmute yourself so we can actually, Laura can hear our applause and our enthusiasm about what she just did. So on 3, let's hear it for Laura. 1, 2, 3. Hey!
I love that. Thank you for letting me hear that. Awesome.
So welcome. And I want to thank you, Laura, for just, I mean, you just always over deliver. And even though I've heard something like this before, got a whole new perspective on it today. And I want to also thank anyone who's watching this live or the replay. If you'd like to join us for one of our 11 free Zoom gatherings a month, or an in-person in Richmond, Virginia or Charlottesville, Virginia, comment below and I'll tell you how to do that. Or you can also go to my website, opwgc.com, and find out all about our community. Thanks for watching.